What is the single biggest graveyard of dreams, fortunes, and human potential? It's not failure, it's not lack of talent, it's not even bad luck. It is a place called tomorrow. We tell ourselves comforting lies. I'll start my business when I have more capital. I'll work on my health when things calm down at work. I'll pursue my passion when the time is right. But what if this seemingly innocent habit of waiting isn't just a minor character flaw or a time management issue? What if it is actually a violation of a fundamental law of creation itself? What if the entire creative power of the universe, the force that builds galaxies and orchestrates the growth of empires, is only available to you in one singular place, one singular moment, right now? The pain of procrastination is not simply about missed deadlines or abandoned goals. It runs far deeper than that. It is the gnawing anxiety that lives in your chest when you lie awake at night, knowing that another day has passed and you are no closer to the life you envision. It is the profound sense of powerlessness that comes from watching your dreams remain perpetually on the horizon, always visible but never arriving, like a mirage that recedes with every step you take toward it. You feel stuck in a prison of your own making, constantly waiting for conditions that never seem to align, for resources that never seem to materialize, for confidence that never seems to arrive. The weeks turn into months, the months into years, and you begin to wonder if you are simply not meant for the success you once believed was your birthright. Most productivity experts will offer you an endless array of tips and tricks to manage your time more effectively. They will sell you planners and apps, teach you the Pomodoro technique, and instruct you in the art of prioritization. But Wallace D. Wattles, writing over a century ago in his masterwork, The Science of Getting Rich, understood something that modern self-help has forgotten. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is a power problem. You are attempting to act in the future, in a realm where you possess absolutely no power whatsoever. You are trying to build a house in a location you cannot reach, using tools that exist only in your imagination. The universe operates according to precise laws, and one of these laws is absolute. All creative power exists only in the present moment. The promise I offer you today is not another system to organize your tasks or motivate yourself through willpower. It is something far more fundamental and far more potent. You are about to learn the law of efficient action in the present, a principle so deeply woven into the fabric of reality that once you truly understand and apply it, procrastination becomes not just difficult, but literally impossible. This is not hyperbole. When you align yourself with this law, you tap into a current of creative force that carries you forward with such momentum that waiting becomes unthinkable. The universe itself begins to conspire to bring your desired future to you, not because of mystical thinking, but because you have finally learned to work with the mechanics of creation rather than against them. Wallace D. Wattles was a master of cosmic efficiency, a man who understood that the universe wastes nothing and that every moment contains within it the seed of all future moments. He taught that wealth, success, and achievement are not matters of luck or circumstance, but the inevitable result of thinking and acting in harmony with certain laws. In this video, you will learn why all creative power exists exclusively in the present moment, and why any attempt to act outside of it is an exercise in futility. You will discover the precise three-step method for applying this law to dissolve procrastination at its root and create unstoppable momentum toward your goals. This is not theory, this is the operating system of reality itself. But I must warn you, there exists a subtle form of action that most people believe is productive and responsible, but which Wattles identified as perhaps the most dangerous form of what he called future action. This seemingly virtuous behavior completely disconnects you from creative power and ensures that your present efforts bear no fruit. Millions of people engage in this behavior every single day, believing they are being prudent and wise, when in fact they are sabotaging their own success. I will reveal this hidden trap in part 4 of this video, and when you recognize it, you will understand why so many hard-working, intelligent people never seem to make progress despite their best efforts. Before we begin this journey into the mechanics of present power, I want you to do something. In the comments below, write down the one thing you have been putting off, the project, the conversation, the decision that you keep telling yourself you will handle when the time is right. Be honest, be specific. This simple act of acknowledgement is the first step in breaking the spell of tomorrow. And if you are ready to learn the secrets that the great masters understood about the nature of time, power, and creation, subscribe to this channel now. The Master's legacy exists to bring you the wisdom that changes everything, and what you are about to discover will transform not just how you work, but how you exist in the world. At the heart of Wattles' teaching lies a principle so simple that most people dismiss it, yet so profound that it unlocks the door to all creative achievement. Here it is, stated plainly: you can act only in the present moment. You cannot act in the past, for it no longer exists except as memory. You cannot act in the future, for it does not yet exist except as possibility. The only point at which you can apply force, make decisions, take action, and shape reality is right now, in this eternal present, acting upon the people, circumstances, and things in your immediate environment. This is not a philosophical abstraction. This is the fundamental law of causation in the physical universe. Consider what this means for your life and your goals. Every vision you hold of future wealth, every dream of a better life, every aspiration for achievement, none of these exist anywhere except in your mind. They are not real. They are patterns of thought, images of possibility. The only thing that is real, the only thing that exists in the concrete world of matter and energy, is this present moment and what you do with it. Your future is not something that will happen to you. Your future is created moment by moment, by the quality and efficiency of the actions you take today. The fortune you will possess tomorrow is being built by the work you do right now, in this hour, with the resources and opportunities currently at your hand. Most people reverse this relationship entirely. They believe that they must first acquire the future they desire, the perfect job, the ideal circumstances, the right connections, and then they will be able to act powerfully. They are waiting for the future to arrive so they can finally begin. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how creation works. The future does not create the present. The present creates the future. You do not wait for success to arrive so you can act successfully. You act successfully now, and success arrives as the inevitable result. This reversal of understanding is what keeps millions of people trapped in perpetual waiting, perpetually powerless, perpetually disappointed. Wattles understood that the universe is not static. It is a dynamic, living process of continuous creation. Every moment, reality is being formed from the formless substance that underlies all things. And the tool by which you shape this substance into the forms you desire is not wishful thinking or passive visualization. It is action, efficient, focused, present action. When you act in the present moment with clarity of purpose and excellence of execution, you impress your will upon the formless substance. You set causes in motion. You initiate chains of events that must, by law, produce corresponding effects. But when you merely think about acting in the future, you impress nothing. You initiate nothing. You remain disconnected from the creative process. This is why procrastination feels so draining and anxiety-producing. On some level, your deeper consciousness knows that you are violating a law. You are attempting the impossible, trying to exert force in a time and place that does not exist. It is like trying to lift a weight that is not there, or push against a wall that is invisible. You expend mental and emotional energy, but nothing moves, nothing changes. And so you feel exhausted without having accomplished anything, anxious without knowing exactly why. The solution is not to try harder to act in the future. The solution is to redirect all of that scattered energy into the only moment where it can actually do work. Right now. Your success tomorrow is determined entirely by the efficiency of your actions today. Not by your plans for tomorrow, not by your worries about tomorrow, not by your hopes for tomorrow, by your actions today. This is the iron law of cause and effect applied to human achievement. If you want to know what your life will look like 1 year from now, look at what you are doing today. If you are acting efficiently, with focus and purpose, on the work that is available to you today, then 1 year from now, you will be in a better place, It is guaranteed by law. But if you are spending today worrying about next year, planning for contingencies, or waiting for conditions to improve, then 1 year from now you will be in exactly the same place, still waiting, still worried, still planning. The present moment is not a limitation. It is the doorway to infinite power. When you learn to concentrate all of your mental and physical energy into the work of today, you become a force of nature. You become unstoppable. Why? Because you are finally working with the grain of the universe instead of against it. You are applying force where force can actually be applied. You are planting seeds in soil that exists, rather than in the imaginary soil of someday. And when you plant real seeds in real soil with real action, the harvest is not a matter of luck or chance. It is a matter of law. Think of the greatest achievements in human history. The construction of cathedrals that took generations to build, the founding of businesses that grew into empires, the writing of books that changed civilization. None of these were accomplished by people who spent their time worrying about the distant future or waiting for perfect conditions. They were accomplished by people who understood that the only way to build something great is to do today's work with excellence. The cathedral builders laid one stone at a time perfectly. The empire builders made one decision at a time wisely. The great authors wrote one page at a time beautifully. They understood that the future takes care of itself when the present is handled with mastery. This is the central concept you must internalize. The present moment is the only point of power. It is the only place where the universe responds to your will. It is the only time when you can actually create. Everything else, all your planning, all your worrying, all your waiting, is an illusion of action. It feels like you are doing something, but you are not. You are merely thinking about doing something, and thinking about action is not action. It produces no results. It sets no causes in motion. It impresses nothing upon the creative substance of the universe. Only present action does that. Wattles wrote with the precision of a scientist and the insight of a mystic. He understood that the universe operates according to mathematical laws, and that these laws apply to the creation of wealth and success just as surely as they apply to the motion of planets. One of these laws is that cause must precede effect. You cannot have the effect of wealth without first putting in place the causes of wealth, and you cannot put causes in place anywhere except in the present moment. This is not a matter of belief or philosophy. This is a matter of physics. The present is the only time that exists. Therefore, the present is the only time when you can cause anything to happen. When you truly grasp this principle, something shifts in your consciousness. The anxiety about the future begins to dissolve. Why? Because you realize that you cannot do anything about the future directly. You can only do something about today. And when you do today's work with complete focus and efficiency, you have done everything that can possibly be done. The future is no longer your responsibility. It becomes the universe's responsibility. Your job is simply to act now and to act well. The universe's job is to arrange circumstances so that your present actions produce their natural effects. And the universe never fails in its job. This is the foundation upon which all achievement is built. This is the bedrock principle that makes procrastination impossible. When you understand that all power exists in the present, you stop waiting. You stop planning endlessly. You stop worrying about whether conditions are right. You simply look at what is in front of you right now, the work, the opportunity, the task, and you do it. You do it with excellence. You do it with your full attention. You do it as if it were the most important thing in the world, because in this moment it is. It is the only thing that exists. It is the only thing you can do. And when you do it with mastery, you have set in motion causes that must produce effects. You have impressed your will upon reality. You have created. The present moment is not a prison. It is not a limitation. It is the only place where freedom exists. It is the only place where you have power. It is the only place where you can create your destiny. Everything else is fantasy. Everything else is waiting. Everything else is powerlessness. But when you act now, when you focus all of your being into this moment and this task, you become a creator. You become a force. You become unstoppable. This is what Wattles understood. This is what he taught. This is the law. To understand why present action is not just preferable, but absolutely necessary, consider the analogy of building a bridge across a vast chasm. You stand on one side of the gorge, and on the other side, far in the distance, is the land of your dreams, the wealth, the success, the life you desire. The only way to reach that distant shore is to build a bridge. Now here is the critical question. How do you build that bridge? Do you start by constructing the far end first, the section that will rest on the distant shore? Of course not. It is physically impossible. You cannot build in a location you cannot reach. You cannot work on a section of the bridge that exists only in your imagination. The only way to build the bridge is to start exactly where you are. You must construct the first section right here, right now, using the materials and tools that are currently available to you. You lay the foundation, you place the first beam, you bolt it securely, and only when that first section is complete and solid can you move forward to build the next section, then the next, then the next. Each section must be built in sequence, each one perfectly constructed, each one supporting the next. There are no shortcuts. You cannot skip ahead. You cannot build the middle before the beginning. You must progress step by step, moment by moment, section by section. Your great future fortune is the far end of that bridge. It is the distant shore you wish to reach. And the way you reach it is not by obsessing over the destination, not by constantly measuring the distance remaining, not by worrying about whether you have enough materials to finish the entire bridge. The way you reach it is by building the section of the bridge that is directly in front of you right now today, with absolute excellence and efficiency. When you do that, when you complete today's section perfectly, you have done everything that can possibly be done today. You have made progress, you have moved forward, and tomorrow you will be in a position to build the next section. This is not a metaphor. This is precisely how all great achievements are accomplished. The person who builds a fortune does not do so by making one giant leap from poverty to wealth. They do it by taking one step at a time, making one wise decision at a time, completing one profitable transaction at a time. Each action builds upon the previous one. Each success creates the platform for the next success. The person who writes a great book does not sit down and produce a masterpiece in one burst of inspiration. They write one page today. Tomorrow, they write another page. Day after day, page after page, until the book is complete. The process is always the same. Present action, repeated with consistency and excellence. Most people fail because they are trying to build the end of the bridge first. They are so focused on the distant shore that they never actually construct the section that is right in front of them. They spend their time planning how wonderful it will be when they finally reach the other side. They worry about whether they will have enough materials to complete the entire bridge. They doubt whether their design is perfect. They wait for ideal weather conditions. And while they are doing all of this thinking and worrying and waiting, they are not building. They are not laying beams. They are not making progress. And so the bridge never gets built. The distant shore remains distant. The dream remains a dream. Wattles understood this with perfect clarity. He taught that you cannot reach your goals by focusing on your goals. You reach your goals by focusing on the work of today. The goal is important. It gives you direction. It provides the vision that guides your actions. But once you have the vision clear in your mind, you must release it. You must stop thinking about the goal and start thinking about the task. What is the work that is available to you today? What is the section of the bridge that you can build right now? That is where your attention must go. That is where your energy must be concentrated. Not on the distant future, but on the immediate present. Every perfectly laid section of the bridge allows you to move forward and lay the next one. This is the key insight. Progress is cumulative. Success builds upon success. When you complete today's work with excellence, you create a solid foundation for tomorrow's work. You move yourself into a new position, a position from which new opportunities become visible, new resources become available, new actions become possible. But if you do not complete today's work, if you leave it half-finished, if you do it carelessly, if you do it while your mind is scattered across a dozen future concerns, then tomorrow you will be in exactly the same position as today. You will have built nothing, you will have progressed nowhere. The universe is perfectly just. It gives you exactly what your actions deserve. If you act efficiently in the present, you receive the effects of efficient present action, progress, growth, advancement. If you spend your time in worry and planning and waiting, you receive the effects of worry and planning and waiting, stagnation, anxiety, frustration. The universe does not care about your intentions. It does not care about your dreams. It cares only about your actions, and your actions can only occur in the present moment. Therefore, the quality of your present actions determines the quality of your future results. This is law. This is mathematics. This is how reality works. Consider the person who wants to start a business but keeps waiting for the perfect idea, the perfect market conditions, the perfect amount of capital. Years pass. They are still waiting. They are still planning. They are still preparing. They never actually start. Why? Because they are trying to build the end of the bridge first. They want to see the completed business before they take the first step. But that is not how bridges are built. That is not how businesses are built. That is not how anything is built. You must start where you are with what you have and build the first section, then the next, then the next. And if you build each section well, the bridge will be completed. It is guaranteed. Now contrast this with the person who starts where they are. They have an idea, perhaps not perfect, but good enough. They have some capital, perhaps not as much as they would like, but enough to begin. They have some time, perhaps not as much as they wish, but enough to take action, and so they act. They build the first section of the bridge. They launch a simple version of their business. They make their first sale. They learn from the experience. They improve. They build the next section. And because they are actually building, because they are actually acting in the present, they make progress. The bridge extends. The distant shore draws closer. And one day they look back and realize they have crossed the chasm. They have reached the land of their dreams, not through perfect planning, but through imperfect action, not through waiting for ideal conditions, but through acting in present conditions. This is the unshakable logic of present action. You cannot build the future directly. You can only build the present. But when you build the present well, the future builds itself. When you lay today's section of the bridge with care and precision, tomorrow's section becomes possible. And when you lay tomorrow's section with care and precision, the next day's section becomes possible. This is how the impossible becomes possible. This is how dreams become reality. This is how the formless substance of the universe is shaped into concrete form, not through magic, not through luck, but through the steady, efficient application of present action. Your great future fortune is the end of the bridge. It is real, it is achievable, but you will never reach it by staring at it from the distant shore. You will never reach it by worrying about whether you are capable of building such a long bridge. You will never reach it by waiting for someone to build it for you. You will reach it only by doing what is in your power to do right now, building today's section perfectly and efficiently. Do that, and the universe takes care of the rest. Do that, and your future is not a matter of hope or chance. It is a matter of certainty. It is guaranteed by the same laws that govern the motion of stars and the growth of trees. Act now, act well, and the effects must follow. This is the foundation. This is the law. This is the way. The mental preparation required for efficient action in the present is not complicated, but it is profound. You must achieve a state of singular focus on the present day, a state in which your entire consciousness is concentrated on the work that is immediately before you. This requires the deliberate release of two powerful forces that constantly pull your attention away from the present: anxiety about the future and regret about the past. These are the twin thieves of power, the two mental habits that drain your creative energy and leave you paralyzed. As long as your mind is divided between what has been and what might be, you cannot bring your full force to bear on what is. Consider how most people live their lives. Their bodies are in the present, but their minds are scattered across time. They are physically at work, but mentally, they are rehearsing a conversation they will have next week. They are sitting with their family, but their thoughts are consumed with a mistake they made last month. They are attempting to complete a task, but half of their attention is occupied with worry about whether they will have enough money next year. This divided consciousness is not just inefficient, it is the root of all powerlessness. When your attention is fragmented across multiple time periods, you are fully present in none of them. You are trying to act in 3 places at once, and the result is that you act effectively in none. The state you must cultivate is one of complete presence. This means that when you sit down to work on a task, that task becomes the entire universe. Nothing else exists. The past is gone and cannot be changed. The future does not yet exist and cannot be controlled. The only thing that is real is this moment and this work. Your entire mental and physical energy must be concentrated on doing this one thing with excellence. This is not a mystical state. This is not about achieving some exotic level of consciousness. This is simply about deciding that for the next hour or the next day, you will keep your attention exactly where your body is, in the present moment, engaged with present work. To achieve this state, you must make a conscious decision to release anxiety about the future. This is perhaps the most difficult aspect of the practice, because human beings are wired to anticipate threats and plan for contingencies. Your mind naturally wants to project into the future, to imagine problems that might arise, to prepare for challenges that may never come. But Wattles understood that this tendency, while it may have been useful for survival in the ancient world, is utterly destructive to creative achievement in the modern world. When you spend your present energy worrying about future problems, you are stealing power from the only moment in which you can actually create solutions. The truth is that you will have the resources to meet future challenges when they arrive. You cannot solve tomorrow's problems today because tomorrow's problems do not exist today. They are phantoms, imaginary constructs in your mind. By the time those problems actually manifest, if they manifest at all, you will be a different person with different resources, different knowledge, different capabilities. The you of today cannot solve the problems of the you of tomorrow. Only the you of tomorrow can do that. Therefore, worrying about those problems today is not preparation, it is waste. It is the dissipation of power that could be used to build, to create, to advance. Equally destructive is the habit of dwelling on past mistakes and missed opportunities. Regret is perhaps the most useless emotion in the human repertoire. It serves no purpose whatsoever. The past is fixed. It cannot be altered. No amount of mental energy directed at past events will change them, by even the smallest degree. Yet millions of people spend hours every day replaying old conversations, reimagining past decisions, torturing themselves with thoughts of what might have been if only they had acted differently. This is not reflection. This is not learning from experience. This is the voluntary imprisonment of consciousness in a time that no longer exists. To act efficiently in the present, you must practice the art of release. Each morning, you acknowledge that today is a new day, a blank canvas, a fresh opportunity. Whatever happened yesterday is irrelevant. Whatever might happen tomorrow is not your concern. Your only responsibility is to do today's work with excellence. This is not denial. This is not ignoring reality. This is the recognition that reality exists only in the present moment, and that you can only shape reality by acting in the present moment. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Only the present is real. Only the present can be acted upon. This mental state creates a profound sense of peace and power. When you release anxiety about the future, you discover that most of your stress simply evaporates. You realize that the vast majority of things you worry about never actually happen, and that the few challenges that do arise are almost always easier to handle than you imagined. When you release regret about the past, you free up enormous amounts of mental energy that can be redirected into creative action. You stop carrying the weight of old mistakes and missed opportunities. You become light, flexible, ready to move in whatever direction the present moment requires. The required state is not passive. It is not a state of drifting or accepting whatever comes. It is a state of intense, focused activity. But the activity is directed entirely at the present. You are not multitasking across time. You are not trying to work on today's tasks while simultaneously planning next week's strategy and processing last month's failures. You are doing one thing, the work of today. And because all of your energy is concentrated on that one thing, you do it with a level of excellence and efficiency that would be impossible if your attention were divided. This is the mental preparation. This is the foundation upon which efficient action is built. You must train your mind to stay in the present moment, to resist the constant temptation to drift into past or future, to concentrate all of your consciousness on the work that is immediately before you. When you do this, when you truly achieve this state of singular focus, you tap into a power that most people never experience. You become a force of nature. You become unstoppable. Because you are finally working with the grain of the universe, finally applying your energy at the only point where it can actually produce results. Right here, right now. The cultivation of this mental state is a practice, not a one-time achievement. Your mind will constantly try to pull you into past or future. This is normal. This is the default mode of human consciousness. Your job is not to never have these thoughts, but to notice when they arise and gently redirect your attention back to the present. When you catch yourself worrying about tomorrow, you simply remind yourself, I cannot act in tomorrow, I can only act in today. What is the work of this moment? When you catch yourself dwelling on yesterday, you simply remind yourself, the past is gone, it has no power over me. What is the work of this moment? Over time, this practice becomes easier. The present moment becomes your natural home. And when that happens, procrastination becomes impossible. This is the architecture of the mind required for efficient action. This is the mental foundation upon which all achievement is built. Release the past. Release the future. Concentrate all of your energy on the present. Do today's work with excellence. This is the path. This is the practice. This is the way to power. Now we come to the practical execution, the precise method by which you apply the law of present action to your daily life. This is not theory. This is a step-by-step process that, when followed with discipline and faith, makes procrastination impossible and transforms you into an unstoppable force of creation. The method consists of 3 steps, each one essential, each one building upon the previous. Master these 3 steps, and you master the art of efficient action in the present. Step 1. Hold the vision but forget the future. Each morning, before you begin the work of the day, you must spend time with your vision. This is the mental image of your ultimate desire, the picture of the life you are creating, the future you are building. You hold this image in your mind with clarity and feeling. You allow yourself to feel the faith that this future is coming, the certainty that you are moving toward it, the purpose that drives your actions. This morning practice is essential because it aligns your will with your goal. It charges your actions with intention. It reminds you why you are doing what you are doing. But here is the crucial instruction. Once you have done this morning practice, once you have held the vision and felt the faith, you must put it out of your mind for the rest of the day. This seems counterintuitive to most people. They believe that they should constantly hold their goal in mind, that they should think about their vision throughout the day, that they should keep reminding themselves of what they are working toward. But Wattles understood that this is exactly wrong. When you spend your day thinking about your goal, you are not acting toward your goal. You are merely thinking about it. Your mind is in the future, imagining the outcome, rather than in the present, creating the causes. The vision serves its purpose in the morning. It sets your direction. But once the direction is set, your job is not to keep looking at the destination. Your job is to walk the path. And you can only walk the path by focusing on the ground, directly beneath your feet. Forgetting the future does not mean abandoning your goal. It means trusting that the goal will take care of itself if you take care of today. It means understanding that the most effective way to reach your destination is to stop thinking about the destination and start focusing on the journey. When you are constantly thinking about where you want to be, you are not fully present where you are. And since you can only act where you are, this divided attention makes your actions less effective. The paradox is that you reach your future goals faster when you stop thinking about them and focus entirely on present action. Step 2. Do all that you can do today. After you have set your vision and released it, You turn your attention to your present environment. You look at your current situation, your current job, your current resources, your current opportunities, your current responsibilities. And you ask yourself one simple question: what is all the work I can do today? Not what you wish you could do, not what you will do someday, not what you would do if circumstances were different. What can you actually do right now, today, with what you currently have? This is the work that matters. This is the work that creates your future. The key word in this step is all. You are not looking to do some of the work, or the easy work, or the work you feel like doing. You are committing to do all of the work that is possible for you to do today. This requires honest self-assessment. Most people dramatically underestimate how much they can actually accomplish in a single day when they are fully focused. They allow themselves to be distracted, to procrastinate, to work at half speed. But when you commit to doing all that you can do, you tap into reserves of energy and capability that you did not know you possessed. This does not mean frantically rushing from task to task. It does not mean working yourself to exhaustion. It means working with focus and efficiency, giving each task your full attention, and not stopping until you have completed everything that can be completed today. Some tasks may carry over to tomorrow. That is natural. But you do not leave tasks half-finished because you got bored or distracted. You do not abandon work because something more interesting came along. You complete each separate act in a successful manner before moving to the next one. The phrase "in a successful manner" is critical. This is not about volume. This is not about how many tasks you can check off a list. This is about quality. Each action you take must be done with excellence, with your full attention and capability. When you write an email, you write it well. When you make a phone call, you give it your full presence. When you complete a project, you complete it to the best of your current ability. This is what Wattles meant by efficiency. Not speed, but excellence. Not quantity, but quality. Each act done so well that it could not be done better with your current knowledge and resources. Why is this so important? Because the universe responds to the quality of your actions, not the quantity. One action done with mastery sets more powerful causes in motion than 100 actions done carelessly. When you do work with excellence, you impress your will upon the formless substance with clarity and force. When you do work carelessly or half-heartedly, your impression is weak and unclear, and the effects that follow are equally weak and unclear. The person who does a small amount of work with excellence will progress faster than the person who does a large amount of work with mediocrity. Look at your present environment with fresh eyes. Most people are surrounded by opportunities they do not see because they are too busy wishing they were somewhere else. You are in your current job for a reason. You have your current resources for a reason. You are in your current circumstances for a reason. That reason is that this is where you can act. This is where the universe has placed you so that you can take the next step on your journey. The change of environment you desire, the better job, the bigger opportunity, the greater resources will come. But it will come as a result of your present action, not as a prerequisite for it. Step 3. Overfill your present place. This is the secret that unlocks everything. This is the key that forces the universe to promote you, to expand your opportunities, to bring you the larger life you desire. You must do today's work so perfectly, so efficiently, so excellently, that you become too big for your current place. What does this mean? It means that you demonstrate through your actions that you are ready for more responsibility, more resources, more opportunity. You prove to the universe that you can be trusted with greater things because you have been faithful with smaller things. Most people approach their current situation with resentment. They believe they are too good for their current job or circumstances. They do the minimum required, saving their best effort for some imagined future opportunity. But this is backwards. The future opportunity comes to those who excel in their present opportunity. The universe promotes those who have proven themselves where they are. If you cannot do your current work with excellence, why would the universe trust you with greater work? If you cannot be faithful with the resources you currently have, why would you be given greater resources? Overfilling your present place means going beyond what is required. It means doing your current job so well that you become indispensable. It means handling your current responsibilities with such excellence that new responsibilities naturally flow to you. It means using your current resources so wisely that greater resources are attracted to you. This is not about working harder for the benefit of someone else. This is about demonstrating to the universe, through concrete action, that you are ready for the next level. You are showing, not telling. You are proving, not claiming. When you overfill your present place, something remarkable happens. Opportunities begin to appear that were previously invisible. People begin to notice your work. Doors begin to open. Resources begin to flow to you. Why? Because you have become a person who creates value wherever you are. You have become a person who can be trusted with greater responsibilities. You have become a person who acts with excellence, regardless of circumstances. And the universe always rewards such people, not because the universe is kind or generous, but because such people have aligned themselves with the laws of creation. They have learned to work with the grain of reality, and reality responds accordingly. This is what forces the universe to promote you, not your wishes, not your plans, not your complaints about your current circumstances, your actions, your excellence, your demonstration of readiness. When you overfill your present place, you create a kind of pressure that must be released. You become like water that has filled a container to overflowing. The water must go somewhere. It must expand into a larger container. And so the universe provides that larger container. It must by law. This is not mysticism. This is the mechanics of how growth and advancement actually work in the real world. The three-step method is complete. Hold the vision in the morning, then forget it. Do all the work that can be done today. Do each piece of that work with such excellence that you overfill your present place. This is the architecture of efficient action. This is the blueprint for creating unstoppable momentum. This is how you transform from someone who waits for the future into someone who creates the future through present action. Master these 3 steps, and procrastination becomes not just difficult, but literally impossible. Because you will be too busy creating to waste time waiting. At the end of each day, there is a final practice that completes the cycle and prepares you for the next day's work. This is the practice of acknowledgement and release. You take a few moments to review the day and ask yourself one simple question. Did I do all that could be done today? Not, did I do everything perfectly? Not, did I accomplish my entire vision? But simply, did I do all the work that was available to me today to the best of my current ability? If the answer is yes, then you have fulfilled your responsibility. You have done your part. You have acted in accordance with the law. This acknowledgement creates a profound sense of peace and completion. You're not lying awake worrying about unfinished tasks, because there are no unfinished tasks. Everything that could be done today has been done. You are not anxious about tomorrow, because you know that tomorrow's work will be handled tomorrow when you have the power to act on it. You are not dwelling on past mistakes, because today was a new beginning, and you made the most of it. This state of peaceful completion is one of the most valuable psychological benefits of efficient action in the present. It is the antidote to the chronic anxiety that plagues modern life. Most people end their days feeling exhausted and unsatisfied. They are exhausted because they have scattered their energy across a dozen incomplete tasks and future worries. They are unsatisfied because, despite all their activity, they do not feel they have actually accomplished anything significant. They have a vague sense that they should have done more, been more productive, made more progress. This feeling is the natural result of divided consciousness. When you are trying to act in multiple time periods simultaneously, you never fully complete anything, and so you never experience the satisfaction of completion. Contrast this with the person who practices efficient action in the present. At the end of the day, they know exactly what they accomplished. They can point to specific tasks that were completed with excellence. They can see concrete progress toward their goals. And most importantly, they know that they did everything that was in their power to do. There is no guilt. There is no anxiety. There is no sense of having wasted the day. Instead, there is a deep satisfaction that comes from knowing you have been faithful to the law, that you have done your part, that you have used your power wisely. This sense of completion is not just psychologically beneficial, it is energetically essential. When you end each day with a clear sense of completion, you free your mind to rest and rejuvenate. You are not carrying the burden of unfinished business into your sleep. You are not using your subconscious mind to worry about tomorrow's challenges. Instead, your entire being can relax, knowing that today was handled well and that tomorrow will be handled when it arrives. This quality of rest is what allows you to wake up each morning with renewed energy and enthusiasm for the work ahead. The practice also creates a powerful feedback loop. When you consistently end each day knowing you did all that could be done, you build a track record of success. You prove to yourself day after day that you are capable of efficient action. This builds confidence and momentum. Each successful day makes the next successful day easier. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to trust the process. You begin to trust that if you simply focus on doing today's work well, the future will take care of itself. And this trust is the foundation of unstoppable momentum. There is also a spiritual dimension to this practice. When you acknowledge that you have done all that could be done today, you are essentially saying to the universe, "I have done my part. Now, I trust you to do yours." You are releasing control over outcomes. You are surrendering attachment to results. You are recognizing that there is a larger intelligence at work, a creative force that responds to your actions and arranges circumstances in ways you cannot predict or control. Your job is to act. The universe's job is to produce effects. And when you do your job well, the universe never fails to do its job. This does not mean you become passive or fatalistic. It means you become focused on what is actually in your control, your present actions. You stop trying to control the future because you cannot. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes because that is not your role. You simply do today's work with excellence, and then you release it. You trust that the causes you have set in motion will produce their natural effects. And this trust, paradoxically, gives you more power than any amount of anxious striving ever could. The post-technique practice is simple, but profound. At the end of each day, review your actions. Acknowledge what you accomplished. If you did all that could be done, celebrate that. If you fell short, do not dwell on it. Simply commit to doing better tomorrow, then release the day. Let it go. It is complete. It is finished. Tomorrow is a new opportunity, a fresh start, another chance to act with excellence. This practice of daily completion and release creates a rhythm, a natural cycle of action and rest, effort and renewal. And this rhythm is the heartbeat of sustainable long-term achievement. When you master this architecture, the mental preparation of singular focus, the three-step method of efficient action, and the post-technique practice of acknowledgement and release, you become a different kind of person. You become someone who does not procrastinate because you are too busy creating. You become someone who does not worry about the future because you are too focused on the present. You become someone who does not dwell on the past because you are too engaged with the now. You become, in Wattles' words, a person who acts in the certain way. And when you act in the certain way, success is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of law. Even with a clear understanding of the law and a commitment to present action, there are subtle traps that can undermine your progress. These are the fatal mistakes that Wattles identified, the common pitfalls that derail even sincere practitioners. The first and perhaps most insidious of these mistakes is the very thing that most people consider to be prudent and responsible: worrying and planning for future emergencies. This is the hook I promised to reveal, the hidden trap that masquerades as wisdom, but is actually the most dangerous form of future action that completely disconnects you from creative power. Consider how this operates in the typical person's life. They spend significant portions of their day imagining potential problems that might arise in the future. What if I lose my job? What if the economy crashes? What if my business fails? What if I get sick? These questions feel responsible. They feel like preparation. They feel like the actions of a prudent person who is planning ahead. But Wattles understood that this is not preparation. It is the dissipation of power. You are taking the energy that could be used to create success today and wasting it on imaginary problems that exist only in your mind. The fatal flaw in this approach is that you are trying to act on a future that does not exist. You are attempting to solve problems that have not occurred and may never occur. And in doing so, you are stealing power from the only moment in which you can actually create: the present. Worse, by dwelling on negative possibilities, you are actually impressing those possibilities upon the formless substance. You are using your creative power to imagine and emotionalize failure, scarcity, and disaster. And the universe, which responds to your mental images and emotions, begins to arrange circumstances to match what you are consistently holding in your mind. Wattles was adamant on this point. Do not spend any time in planning for future troubles. This is not naive optimism. This is not denying that challenges will arise. This is the recognition that you will have the resources to meet future challenges when they arrive. Right now, in this present moment, you do not have those challenges. Therefore, you do not need the resources to solve them. But when those challenges do arrive, if they arrive, you will be a different person. You will have grown. You will have learned. You will have access to resources and capabilities that you do not currently possess. The you of tomorrow will be equipped to handle the problems of tomorrow. The you of today cannot solve problems that do not yet exist. Think of it this way. Imagine a person who is about to climb a mountain. They could spend hours at the base of the mountain, worrying about the difficult passages they will encounter near the summit. They could imagine all the ways they might slip or fall. They could plan elaborate contingencies for problems they have never faced. Or they could simply start climbing, focusing on the section of the path directly in front of them. When they reach a difficult passage, they will deal with it then, with the experience and strength they have gained from the climb so far. Which approach is more likely to result in a successful summit? The answer is obvious. The same principle applies to your goals and ambitions. You cannot prepare for every possible future challenge. You cannot plan for every contingency. And attempting to do so is not just futile, it is actively harmful. It drains your energy. It fills your mind with fear and doubt. It keeps you from acting powerfully in the present. The solution is not more planning. The solution is more trust. Trust that you will have what you need when you need it. Trust that you are in partnership with a creative intelligence that is far greater than your conscious mind. Trust that if you do today's work well, tomorrow's challenges will be manageable. Wattles wrote, "You are never without resources, for you are in partnership with God." This is not religious dogma. This is a statement about the nature of reality. You are not a separate, isolated being struggling alone in a hostile universe. You are an expression of the creative intelligence that underlies all existence. You are connected to the formless substance from which all things are made. And when you act in harmony with the laws of this substance, when you act efficiently in the present, the universe provides what you need. Not always what you want, and not always when you expect it, but always what you need to take the next step. The second fatal mistake is waiting for a change of environment before you begin to act in the certain way. This is perhaps the most common form of procrastination. People believe that they must first be in different circumstances, a better job, a different city, more capital, a supportive partner, before they can start acting with excellence and purpose. They tell themselves, once I get that promotion, then I'll really show what I can do. Once I move to a bigger market, then I'll launch my business. Once I have more time, then I'll work on my goals. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how change occurs. Wattles is absolutely clear on this point. You must start where you are. The change of environment is the effect of your present action, not the cause of it. You do not wait for better circumstances to begin acting excellently. You act excellently in your current circumstances, and better circumstances naturally follow. The universe promotes those who excel where they are, not those who complain about where they are. If you cannot be faithful with your current responsibilities, why would you be given greater responsibilities? If you cannot create value in your current environment, why would you be moved to a better environment? This mistake is rooted in a belief that circumstances determine behavior. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Behavior determines circumstances. You do not need to be in a prestigious position to act with excellence. You can act with excellence in any position. You do not need to be in an ideal location to begin your work. You can begin your work wherever you are. You do not need perfect conditions to demonstrate your capabilities. You can demonstrate your capabilities in imperfect conditions. And when you do, when you prove through your actions that you are ready for more, the universe provides more. The trap here is that waiting for better circumstances feels reasonable. It feels like you are being strategic, like you are positioning yourself for success. But in reality, you are simply avoiding action. You are using the imperfection of your current situation as an excuse not to begin. And the longer you wait, the more entrenched this habit becomes. Years pass. The perfect circumstances never arrive. And you remain exactly where you are, still waiting, still preparing, still believing that someday conditions will be right. But conditions are never perfect. There is always a reason to wait. The only way to break this cycle is to start now where you are, with what you have. The third fatal mistake is hasty or inefficient action. Some people, upon hearing the teaching about present action, misinterpret it as a call to frantic busyness. They believe that doing all that can be done today means rushing through tasks, working at a breakneck pace, sacrificing quality for quantity. But this is not what Wattles taught. He was emphatic that each act must be done in a successful manner, with the calm power of a master. Efficiency is not about speed, it is about excellence. It is about doing each thing so well that it produces the desired effect with the minimum waste of energy. Hasty action is actually a form of scattered consciousness. When you rush, you are not fully present with the task at hand. Part of your mind is already jumping ahead to the next task or worrying about how much you have left to do. This divided attention ensures that the current task is done poorly, which means it will either need to be redone or will produce suboptimal results. Either way, you have wasted energy. True efficiency comes from complete focus on one task at a time, doing that task with your full attention and capability, and only moving to the next task when the current one is complete. The calm power of a master is the ideal state for action. A master does not rush. A master does not panic. A master moves with deliberate precision, giving each action exactly the attention it requires, no more and no less. When you watch a true master at work, whether it is a craftsman, an artist, an athlete, or a business leader, you notice this quality. There is no wasted motion, there is no anxiety, there is simply focused, efficient action. This is the state you must cultivate. Not frantic busyness, but calm productivity. Not volume of work, but quality of work. These three mistakes, worrying about future troubles, waiting for better circumstances, and acting hastily, are the primary ways that people violate the law of efficient action in the present. They are subtle traps because they often feel like the right thing to do. Planning for contingencies feels responsible. Waiting for better conditions feels strategic. Working quickly feels productive. But all three are forms of disconnection from present power. All three scatter your energy across time rather than concentrating it in the moment. And all three guarantee that your progress will be slow, frustrating, and uncertain. The antidote to these mistakes is vigilance and self-awareness. You must constantly monitor your thoughts and actions to ensure that you are truly acting in the present, not in the imaginary future or the unchangeable past. When you catch yourself worrying about potential problems, stop. Redirect that energy to present action. When you catch yourself waiting for circumstances to change, stop. Begin acting excellently right now. When you catch yourself rushing through tasks, stop. Slow down. Focus. Do the current task with mastery. This constant self-correction is the practice. This is how you refine your ability to act efficiently in the present. Wattles' teaching is precise and unforgiving. There is no room for excuses. There is no allowance for special circumstances. The law applies to everyone equally, without exception. You can act only in the present. Your future is created by your present actions. If you want a different future, you must take different actions today, not tomorrow. Not when conditions improve, today, right now. This very moment, this is the refinement, this is the discipline, this is the path to power. To fully internalize these principles, it is valuable to return to Wattles' own words, for he stated these truths with a clarity and force that cannot be improved upon. He wrote, "Do not spend any time in planning for future troubles. Do not worry about possible disasters. Do not think about how you will meet emergencies until they arrive. You can attend to them much better when they are here than you can now. When the emergency comes, you will have the resources to meet it. And if you give the present hour to meeting the duties of the present hour and to making the present hour all that it can be made, you are doing all that you can do toward meeting any emergency that may arise at any time in the future. Read those words slowly. Let them sink in. This is not a suggestion. This is not a nice idea. This is a statement of law. You can attend to future challenges much better when they arrive than you can now. Why? Because when they arrive, they will be present challenges, and you will have present power to deal with them. Right now, they are not present. They are imaginary. And you have no power to deal with imaginary problems. All you can do is worry about them, which drains your power and makes you less capable of dealing with real, present challenges. Wattles continues, "It is your business to attend to the work of today. This is your business. This is your job. This is your entire responsibility, not to plan for next month, not to worry about next year, to attend to the work of today. When you make this your singular focus, everything changes. The anxiety dissolves, the paralysis lifts. You know exactly what to do, the work that is in front of you right now, and you know exactly when to do it. Now. There is no ambiguity. There is no confusion. There is only clear present action." He also wrote, "You are never without resources, for you are in partnership with God." This is one of the most powerful statements in all of Wattles' teaching. You are never without resources. Never. Even when it seems like you have nothing, even when it appears that you are trapped in impossible circumstances, you are never without resources, because you are not alone. You are not a separate being struggling in isolation. You are in partnership with the creative intelligence of the universe itself. And this intelligence is infinite in its resources and perfect in its timing. What does it mean to be in partnership with God or with the universal intelligence? It means that when you act in harmony with the laws of creation, when you think in the certain way and act in the certain way, the universe responds. It means that opportunities appear that you could not have predicted. It means that resources flow to you from unexpected sources. It means that the right people, the right information, the right circumstances arrive exactly when you need them. Not because of magic, but because you have aligned yourself with the natural flow of creative energy. You have stopped trying to force outcomes and started allowing them to unfold. This partnership is not passive. It is not about sitting back and waiting for the universe to deliver what you want. It is about doing your part, acting efficiently in the present, and trusting that the universe will do its part, arranging circumstances to match your actions. Your job is to act. The universe's job is to respond. When you do your job, the universe always does its job. This is law. This is how reality works. But if you do not do your job, if you spend your time worrying, waiting, or acting inefficiently, then the universe has nothing to respond to. Your actions are weak and unclear, and the effects that follow are equally weak and unclear. Another crucial insight from Wattles: give your whole attention to the perfectly doing of the present act. Not half your attention, not most of your attention, your whole attention. This is the key to efficiency. When you give your whole attention to the present act, you do it perfectly. And when you do it perfectly, it produces maximum effect with minimum effort. This is true efficiency. But when you divide your attention, when you are physically doing one thing while mentally doing another, you do everything poorly. Nothing gets your full power. Nothing gets done with excellence. And so nothing produces the results you desire. The practice of giving your whole attention to the present act is a form of meditation. It is a spiritual discipline. It is the cultivation of presence. And like any discipline, it requires practice. Your mind will constantly try to wander. It will want to think about the next task, or worry about future outcomes, or replay past conversations. This is normal. Your job is not to prevent these thoughts, but to notice when they arise and gently bring your attention back to the present act. Over time, this becomes easier. The present moment becomes your natural home. And when that happens, you discover a level of power and effectiveness that you never knew you possessed. Wattles also reminds us there is never any hurry on the creative plane. This is a profound statement. In the realm of true creation, there is no rush. There is no panic. There is only the steady, deliberate unfolding of causes into effects. The universe operates according to perfect timing. Seeds take time to grow. Buildings take time to construct. Fortunes take time to accumulate. You cannot rush the process. Attempting to do so only introduces inefficiency and error. The solution is not to work faster, but to work better. To do each thing with complete focus and excellence. To trust the timing of the universe. This does not mean you should be lazy or complacent. It means you should be deliberate. It means you should move with purpose rather than panic. It means you should understand that true power comes from calm, focused action, not from frantic busyness. The person who moves with calm deliberation, doing each thing perfectly, will ultimately accomplish far more than the person who rushes from task to task, doing everything poorly. Quality over quantity, presence over speed, mastery over volume. These master's tips from Wattles are not just inspirational quotes, they are precise instructions for how to align yourself with the laws of creation. They are the distilled wisdom of a man who understood how the universe actually works, not how we wish it worked, or how it appears to work on the surface. When you take these words seriously, when you make them the foundation of your daily practice, you begin to experience results that seem miraculous to others, but are simply the natural consequence of working with the grain of reality rather than against it. The refinement, then, is this: constant vigilance against the three fatal mistakes, constant return to Wattles' core teachings, and constant practice of giving your whole attention to the present act. This is not complicated, but it is demanding. It requires discipline. It requires faith. It requires the willingness to trust the process even when results are not immediately visible. But for those who persist, for those who commit to this path, the rewards are not just material success. The rewards include a profound sense of peace, a deep confidence in your own capabilities, and the knowledge that you are living in harmony with the fundamental laws of the universe. This is mastery. This is power. This is the way. The principles that Wattles taught over a century ago are not merely historical curiosities or philosophical abstractions. They are being validated and rediscovered by modern science and contemporary productivity research. Consider the concept of flow state, popularized by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow is defined as a state of complete immersion in an activity, where you lose track of time, where self-consciousness disappears, where action and awareness merge into a seamless whole. Athletes call it being in the zone. Artists call it inspiration. But whatever the name, the characteristics are always the same. Total focus on the present moment, complete engagement with the task at hand, and a sense of effortless power. What Csikszentmihalyi discovered through decades of research is that flow states are not random. They occur under specific conditions. One of the primary conditions is that your attention must be completely focused on the present activity. You cannot be in flow while thinking about the past or worrying about the future. You cannot be in flow while multitasking or allowing your mind to wander. Flow requires presence. It requires that your entire consciousness be concentrated in the here and now. Does this sound familiar? This is exactly what Wattles taught. He called it acting in the present moment. Modern psychology calls it flow. But they are describing the same state. What makes this connection even more profound is that flow states are associated with peak performance. When you are in flow, you perform at your highest level. Your work is better, your decisions are wiser, your actions are more effective. Athletes break records in flow states. Artists create masterpieces in flow states. Business leaders make breakthrough decisions in flow states. And the key to accessing this state is presence, complete undivided attention on the present moment. Wattles understood this intuitively. He knew that present action was not just morally right or philosophically sound. It was the key to maximum effectiveness. Modern neuroscience provides additional validation. Brain imaging studies have shown that when you are fully focused on a present task, certain regions of your brain become highly active while others quiet down. Specifically, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-monitoring, worry, and abstract planning, becomes less active. Meanwhile, the regions associated with immediate perception and action become more active. In other words, when you are truly present, your brain literally stops worrying about the future and stops dwelling on the past. It becomes a pure instrument of present action. This is the neurological basis for what Wattles described as giving your whole attention to the present act. The concept of deep work, popularized by computer science professor Cal Newport, provides another modern validation of Wattles' principles. Newport defines deep work as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. He argues that deep work is becoming increasingly rare in our distraction-filled modern world, and that those who cultivate the ability to do deep work will have an enormous competitive advantage. What is deep work? It is sustained, focused attention on a cognitively demanding task. It is the opposite of shallow work, the multitasking, email checking, meeting attending activities that fill most people's days. Newport's research shows that deep work produces dramatically better results in less time. 1 hour of deep work accomplishes more than several hours of shallow work. Why? Because deep work is present work. When you are doing deep work, you are not thinking about other tasks. You are not checking your phone. You are not worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. You are completely immersed in the present task. You are, in Wattles' terms, giving your whole attention to the present act, and this complete attention produces maximum efficiency and effectiveness. What both flow state research and deep work research confirm is that the state of complete presence is not just pleasant or psychologically satisfying. It is the state of maximum productivity and effectiveness. When you are fully present, you do better work. You make better decisions. You solve problems more creatively. You accomplish more in less time. This is not mysticism. This is measurable, scientific fact. The modern research simply confirms what Wattles knew, that all creative power exists in the present moment, and that accessing this power requires complete focus on present action. There is also validation from the field of mindfulness and contemplative practice. Mindfulness meditation, which has been studied extensively in recent decades, is essentially the practice of bringing your attention to the present moment. Thousands of studies have shown that regular mindfulness practice reduces anxiety, improves focus, enhances emotional regulation, and increases overall well-being. Why? Because anxiety is always about the future. Regret is always about the past. When you train your mind to stay in the present, these sources of suffering naturally diminish. You become more peaceful, more focused, more effective. But here is what is often missed in popular discussions of mindfulness. It is not just about feeling calm, it is about power. When your mind is trained to stay present, you have access to your full capabilities. You are not wasting energy on worry or regret. You are not fragmenting your attention across multiple time periods. You are concentrating all of your power in the only moment where it can actually do work. This is why mindfulness practitioners often report not just feeling better, but performing better. They make better decisions. They respond to challenges more skillfully. They accomplish their goals more effectively. They have discovered, through contemplative practice, what Wattles taught through metaphysical principle, that the present moment is the seat of power. The validation extends to the realm of quantum physics, though we must be careful not to overstate the connection. Quantum mechanics has revealed that at the fundamental level, reality is not fixed and predetermined. It is probabilistic and responsive. The act of observation, of bringing conscious attention to a quantum system, affects the system's behavior. While we cannot draw direct lines from quantum mechanics to personal success, there is a suggestive parallel. Consciousness and attention matter. Where you place your attention affects outcomes. When you place your attention fully in the present moment, you are not just observing reality, you are participating in its creation. What all of this modern research and scientific investigation confirms is that Wattles was not teaching superstition or wishful thinking. He was teaching a practical method for accessing the state of consciousness that produces maximum effectiveness. Whether you call it flow, deep work, mindfulness, or present action, the principle is the same. Complete focus on the present moment is the key to power. When you are fully present, you tap into capabilities that are otherwise inaccessible. You become more creative, more productive, more effective. You stop wasting energy on the past and future, and you concentrate all of your power in the only moment where it can actually create change. The metaphysical language that Wattles used, talking about the formless substance, about impressing your will upon the universe, about partnership with God, may sound foreign to modern ears. But strip away the language and look at the actual practice he prescribed. It is identical to what modern science has discovered about optimal human performance. Focus completely on the present task. Do each thing with excellence. Do not worry about the future. Do not dwell on the past. Act now, act well, and trust the process. This is not mysticism. This is the operating manual for peak human performance, validated by a century of scientific research. The reason Wattles' teaching has endured for over 100 years is not because it is comforting or easy to believe. It is because it works. When people actually apply these principles, when they truly commit to acting efficiently in the present moment, they get results. Their lives change. Their circumstances improve. Their goals are achieved. Not through magic, but through the natural operation of cause and effect. They have learned to work with the fundamental laws of reality, and reality responds accordingly. This is the validation. Not in theory, but in practice. Not in laboratory studies, but in transformed lives. To make this concrete, consider the story of a person we will call Sarah. Sarah is 32 years old and works in a dead-end administrative job at a small company. She has always wanted to be a writer, but she has never pursued it seriously. She tells herself that she will write when she has more time, or when she finds the right idea, or when she feels more confident. Meanwhile, the years pass. She remains in her unfulfilling job, dreaming of a different life but taking no action to create it. This is the state of millions of people, trapped in the gap between desire and action, waiting for conditions that never arrive. One day, Sarah encounters Wattles' teaching on present action. At first, she is skeptical. It seems too simple, but something about it resonates with her. She decides to apply the method, starting immediately. She does not quit her job. She does not wait for the perfect idea for a book. She does not wait until she feels confident. She simply begins where she is, with what she has. The next morning, she holds the vision of herself as a successful writer. She feels the faith that this is possible. Then she puts it out of her mind and focuses on the present day. At her job, Sarah makes a radical decision. Instead of doing the minimum required, instead of complaining about how boring her work is, she decides to overfill her present place. She becomes the most efficient, positive, helpful employee in the office. She completes her tasks with excellence. She volunteers for additional responsibilities. She treats every interaction with colleagues and clients as an opportunity to demonstrate value. This is not about being a doormat or sacrificing herself for an ungrateful employer. This is about proving to herself and to the universe that she is capable of excellence regardless of circumstances. In her spare time, early mornings before work, evenings after dinner, weekends, Sarah writes. But she does not worry about writing a complete novel. She does not stress about finding a publisher. She does not even think about whether anyone will ever read her work. She simply focuses on writing one perfect page today. She gives that page her full attention. She crafts each sentence with care. She revises until it is as good as she can make it. Then, the next day, she writes another page and another. She is not writing for the future. She is writing in the present. Something remarkable begins to happen. At her job, Sarah's excellence is noticed. Her boss gives her more interesting projects. Her colleagues start coming to her for help and advice. Within 6 months, she is promoted to a position with more responsibility and better pay. She did not ask for this promotion. She did not politic for it. She simply overfilled her present place and the universe promoted her. This is not luck. This is law. When you demonstrate through your actions that you are ready for more, more arrives. Meanwhile, Sarah's writing practice is producing results. After a year, she has a completed manuscript, not perfect, but good. More importantly, she has developed the discipline of daily writing. She has proven to herself that she is a writer, not just someone who wants to write. She begins submitting her work to literary magazines. She receives rejections, but she does not dwell on them. She simply writes the next piece. She focuses on today's work. Eventually, one of her stories is accepted for publication, then another, then another. She is building a portfolio, establishing a reputation, creating momentum. 2 years after beginning this practice, Sarah's life is unrecognizable. She has been promoted again at her job and is now in a position that actually interests her. She has published 12 short stories in respected magazines. She has completed a novel and found an agent. Most importantly, she has transformed herself from a person who waits into a person who creates. She no longer feels trapped or powerless. She knows that she can create the life she desires through present action. She has proven it to herself through lived experience. What did Sarah do that was so special? Nothing extraordinary. She simply applied Wattles' method with consistency and faith. She held the vision, but did not obsess over it. She did all the work that could be done each day. She overfilled her present place. She gave her whole attention to each present act. She did not worry about the future. She did not wait for perfect conditions. She acted now, where she was, with what she had, and the universe responded. Opportunities opened, resources appeared. The path forward became clear, not because of magic, but because she aligned herself with the law of efficient action in the present. This story, while hypothetical, represents the experience of countless people who have applied these principles. The details vary, but the pattern is always the same. Someone is stuck, waiting, dreaming, but not doing. They encounter the teaching on present action. They decide to apply it. They start where they are, they overfill their present place. They focus on today's work. And their circumstances begin to change. Not overnight, but steadily. Not through dramatic breakthroughs, but through the accumulation of excellent present actions. The bridge gets built, section by section, until one day they look back and realize they have crossed the chasm. They have reached the distant shore. They have created the life they desired. The validation is not in theory, the validation is in results. When you act efficiently in the present, you get results. When you overfill your present place, you get promoted. When you focus on today's work, tomorrow takes care of itself. This is not a belief system, this is not a philosophy. This is a practical method for creating the life you desire. And it works. Not because Wattles was a genius, though he was. Not because the universe is magical, though it is wondrous. It works because it is aligned with the fundamental laws of how reality operates. Cause and effect, action and reaction, present action, future results. This is law. This is truth. This is the way. We have journeyed deep into the architecture of present action, explored its foundations, examined its methods, and witnessed its validation. Now we must synthesize this knowledge into a unified understanding of power. The synthesis is this: procrastination is not a time management problem, a motivation problem, or a discipline problem. Procrastination is a symptom of a mind divided between past and future. It is the natural result of trying to act in a time where you have no power. It is the inevitable consequence of violating the fundamental law that all creative force exists only in the present moment. When your mind is dwelling on past mistakes, you are powerless. The past is fixed. It cannot be changed. No amount of mental energy directed at past events will alter them by even the smallest degree. When your mind is anxious about future problems, you are equally powerless. The future does not yet exist. You cannot act on it. You cannot control it. You can only imagine it. And if you imagine it with fear and doubt, you are actually using your creative power to attract the very outcomes you wish to avoid. This divided consciousness, part of you in the past, part of you in the future, very little of you in the present, is the root of all procrastination, all anxiety, all powerlessness. The cure is to unite your mind and body in the only point of power that exists, the present moment. This is not a metaphor. This is not a spiritual platitude. This is a precise description of the state of consciousness required for effective action. When your mind is fully present, when you are not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, you have access to your full capabilities. Your attention is undivided. Your energy is concentrated. Your actions are efficient and effective. You become a force of nature, unstoppable in your momentum, because you are finally working with the grain of reality rather than against it. Your future is not something you wait for. This is perhaps the most important insight of all. The future is not a destination you will eventually arrive at if you are patient enough. The future is something you build, moment by moment, with the bricks of your present actions. Every action you take today is a brick. Every decision you make today is a brick. Every word you speak, every thought you think, every task you complete, these are the bricks that construct your future. If you want a different future, you do not need to wait for different circumstances. You need to lay different bricks today. The quality of your future is determined by the quality of your present actions. If you act with excellence today, you will have an excellent future. If you act carelessly today, you will have a careless future. If you act with fear and doubt today, you will have a fearful and doubtful future. If you act with confidence and purpose today, you will have a confident and purposeful future. This is not wishful thinking. This is cause and effect. This is the iron law of the universe, and it applies to you, to me, to everyone, without exception and without mercy. The synthesis of power, then, is the recognition that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are not at the mercy of luck or fate. You are not waiting for permission from the universe to begin your life. You are a creator. You have within you the same creative power that built galaxies and orchestrates the growth of civilizations. And the way you access this power is not through grand visions or elaborate plans. The way you access this power is through simple, focused, present action. Do today's work with excellence, that is all. That is everything. Now I speak to you directly, to the part of you that knows you were meant for more than you are currently experiencing. Stop waiting. The perfect time will never arrive. There will always be reasons to delay, always obstacles to overcome, always uncertainties to resolve. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will wait forever. The conditions you are waiting for do not exist. They never did. They never will. The only condition that matters is this: you are alive, you are conscious, and you have this present moment. That is all you need. That is all you have ever needed. The power you seek is not in the future. It is not locked away in some distant time, when you will finally have more money, more time, more confidence, more support. The power you need is in you, right now. It is in your ability to focus your attention. It is in your capacity to make a decision. It is in your willingness to take action, however small, in this present moment. You do not need to wait to become powerful. You are already powerful. You simply need to stop scattering your power across time and concentrate it in the present. The opportunity you are looking for is not in another city or another job or another set of circumstances. The opportunity is hidden within the work of this very day. It is in the task that is sitting in front of you right now, the task you have been avoiding or treating as unimportant. That task is your opportunity. That responsibility is your doorway to greater things. That challenge is your training ground. When you treat it with excellence, when you give it your full attention, when you complete it with mastery, you demonstrate to the universe that you are ready for more. And the universe always responds to such demonstrations. Your destiny is not determined by a grand future plan. It is not written in the stars. It is not dependent on luck or chance or the whims of other people. Your destiny is determined by the quality of your action in this present moment. Right now, in this very instant, you are creating your future. The question is, what kind of future are you creating? Are you creating a future of excellence through present excellence? Or are you creating a future of mediocrity through present mediocrity? Are you building the bridge, or are you standing at the edge of the chasm, staring at the distant shore and wishing you were there? You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can continue to wait, to plan, to prepare, to hope that someday conditions will be right. Or you can begin. right now, where you are, with what you have. You can take the work that is available to you today and do it with such excellence that you become too big for your current place. You can focus your entire consciousness on the present moment and discover the power that has always been there, waiting for you to claim it. You can stop being a person who waits and become a person who creates. This is not about working harder. This is not about sacrificing your health or your relationships in pursuit of success. This is about working smarter. This is about understanding where your power actually exists and concentrating your energy there. When you stop wasting energy on the past and future, you discover that you have more than enough energy to do today's work with excellence. When you stop trying to control outcomes and focus on controlling your actions, you discover that outcomes take care of themselves. When you stop waiting for the universe to give you what you want and start demonstrating through your actions that you are ready for it, you discover that the universe is far more generous than you ever imagined. The message of empowerment is simple but profound. You are not powerless. You have never been powerless. You have simply been trying to exert power in the wrong place, in the past and future, where you have no power. But when you redirect that same energy to the present moment, when you concentrate all of your force on the work of today, you become unstoppable. You become a creator. You become a master. Not because you have acquired some special knowledge or secret technique, but because you have finally learned to work with reality as it actually is, rather than as you wish it were. I want to leave you with a challenge. It is simple, but it is not easy. I call it the One Perfect Day Challenge. For just one day, 24 hours, you will follow the law of efficient action in the present with complete discipline. This is not a lifelong commitment. This is not a permanent change. This is simply an experiment, a test, a way to experience for yourself the power that comes from complete presence. Here is how it works. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you will spend a few minutes holding your vision. Picture the life you desire. Feel the faith that it is coming. Feel the purpose that drives you. Then, and this is crucial, you will put that vision out of your mind for the rest of the day. You will not think about your long-term goals. You will not worry about whether you are on the right path. You will not stress about the future. You will simply ask yourself, what is all the work I can do today? Then you will do that work, all of it. Every task, every responsibility, every opportunity that presents itself today, you will handle with complete focus and excellence. You will give each task your whole attention. You will complete each act in a successful manner. You will not rush. You will not cut corners. You will not do things halfway. You will treat every single thing you do today as if it were the most important thing in the world. Because for that moment it is. It is the only thing that exists. It is the only thing you can do. Throughout the day, you will notice your mind trying to wander. It will want to worry about tomorrow. It will want to replay yesterday's mistakes. It will want to plan for next week or next month. Every time you notice this happening, you will gently but firmly bring your attention back to the present moment. What is the work of this moment? That is the only question that matters. That is the only question you will answer. At the end of the day, you will review what you accomplished. You will ask yourself, did I do all that could be done today? If the answer is yes, you will feel something you may not have felt in a long time, a deep sense of completion, satisfaction, and peace. You will know that you did not waste the day. You did not squander your power. You used it fully, directed it completely, concentrated it entirely on the only moment where it could actually do work. And you will go to sleep with the profound peace that comes from knowing you have been faithful to the law. The goal of this challenge is not to accomplish some massive amount of work. The goal is to experience the state of complete presence, to feel what it is like to have all of your power concentrated in the present moment, to discover the peace and effectiveness that come from acting in harmony with the fundamental laws of reality. Most people have never experienced this state, not even for an hour. They have spent their entire lives with divided consciousness, scattered energy, fragmented attention. This challenge gives you the opportunity to experience something different, something powerful, something transformative. If you are ready to stop waiting and start creating, if you are ready to dissolve procrastination and build your future today, if you are ready to discover the power that has always been within you, then I invite you to take this challenge. Do one perfect day, just one. See what happens. See how it feels. See what you are capable of when you stop trying to act in the future and start acting in the present. See what the universe does when you demonstrate through your actions that you are ready for more. And if you want to continue this journey, if you want to master the teachings of the great minds who understood the laws of success and achievement, then subscribe to the Master's Legacy. This channel exists to bring you the wisdom that changes everything, the principles that transform lives, the truths that set you free. We do not offer quick fixes or empty motivation. We offer the deep, timeless teachings of the Masters who understood how reality actually works. And we present these teachings in a way that you can apply immediately, practically, powerfully. The law of present action is not just a technique for productivity. It is a way of life. It is a path to power. It is the key that unlocks your potential and allows you to create the life you were meant to live. Master this law, and you master your destiny. Master this law, and procrastination becomes impossible. Master this law, and you become unstoppable. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The moment is now. What will you do with it?